Hi guys, you are welcome to my channel. My name is Dan and I work as an analyst in an investment bank. On YouTube, I explore the different ways of making money online passively. So here we talk about passive income, side hustle, and the different ways and strategies of making money online. In today's episode, we'll be discussing about the stock market, and to be specific, we'll be looking at how to read the stock market chart for beginners. I want to take you through a step-by-step approach on how to read the stock market chart. You can simply just type any company that you like on Google and it will display the current stock price. Also, if you are using iPhone, there is an app called Stock. So you can check for the shares and stocks of a company that you like. But our interest is not just to check only the price, but how do we read it? How do we understand everything that's presented on the chart? Just before we start, it'd be very nice for you to support this content by smashing the like button, smashing the subscribe button, smashing the share button, so that YouTube will recommend this video to other people. Thank you for making this video go viral. So let's dive right in. One of the most popular websites for reading stock market prices is Yahoo Finance. It's free and it's popular. Are you ready to start reading the stock market chart? Here, you can either type the company or type the symbol for the company. So we're in the search bar of Yahoo Finance. Just type Apple. It's showing us Apple Incorporated, Apple Hospitality REIT, Apple Incorporated, Apple Rush Company. Our interest is the first one, which is AAPL, the symbol for Apple Incorporated as a company. So we click on it. It will show us the price of Apple. Now you can see these annoying ads. We can see it shows us Apple Incorporated, what we search for, and in bracket we have the symbol. Now it's told us it's Nasdaq GS real-time price, currency in US dollar. So it shows us the currency value. It tells us that the currency is in dollars, not in pounds or in yen. So also it tells us that is from Nasdaq. Apple is registered with Nasdaq Stock Exchange. So it's telling us that it's pulling this information and this data from Nasdaq. Nasdaq is the stock exchange. Now, what is the meaning of all these things that you are seeing? First of all, the thick dark number you are seeing is the price of Apple. I'm making this video on Sunday. The price I'm seeing here is the price for Friday, since the market is not open on weekends. That is Saturday and Sundays, and sometimes on public holidays. The small red number you are seeing is the difference between this current price we are seeing, 131.46, and the previous closing price of Apple. The previous close of Apple is $133.48. The difference between the Friday close, which is 131.46, and 133.48 is 2.02, which is what we are seeing here. It's negative because it's telling us that the previous close, 131.48, is higher than our current close. Our current close, which is 131.46, minus the previous close, which is 133, would give us minus 2.02, which is the price we are seeing here. It's a way of telling us that the market is closing at a lower price than the previous day close. The red number you're seeing that's in bracket is when this difference between the current close and the previous day close is converted to percentage. So we just divide this minus 2.02 with the previous day close. You are seeing it. So if we divide it with the previous day close, it's giving us minus 0.0151. So in percentage, we multiply by 100. So which is giving us minus 1.513335%. So which is approximated to be minus 1.51%, which is what you are seeing here. So you understand what this number means. Now it's in red because our current close is lower than the previous close. If our current close is higher than the previous close, this red will turn green. So you see that the stock market is exciting. So all these red numbers that you are seeing that I'm pointing to will turn green if our current close is higher than the previous close. But because our current close, which is 131.46, is lower than the previous close, which is 133.48, the number will turn red to signify a decrease. Now, if I put this chart on full screen, now you can see the price 131.46 that we've been talking about. And if you go on a daily basis, you will see that the closing price for Thursday, which is 29th of April, is 133.48. The previous close is 133.58. The previous close is 134.39, which is on 27th of April, and so on. You are seeing the price for each day is displayed for you for each day. What you are seeing here on the stock market chart is the closing price for each day. And if you point to it, you can even see that for each day, Yahoo Finance also shows you the opening price, the highest price, the lowest price, the closing price, the volume, and the percentage change. Now, what I've showed you is on a daily basis. We can do it for 1 day, for 5 days, for 1 month, for 3 months, for 6 months. As you can see, as you click on the month, the dates will be changing in the last 6 months, which is from November to April. Now, we have YTD, which is year to date. This is from the beginning of the year, which is January 2021 to our current date. So we also have 1 year, which implies that you want to view the chart for 1 year. We can also view the chart for 2 years. You can see 2020, 2021. We can view the chart for 5 years to see how Apple share have been performing for over 5 years, as you can see. And we can view the chart since inception, which is maximum. Since inception of Apple shares, we can see that the chart has been going up and down. So this is from inception of Apple shares. The D that you are seeing is for dividend. When Apple paid dividend to their investors, we can always close it by going to event and closing event and stock splits. And always close them in order to view only the price. You can see. So we have a lot of things here that we can analyze further. But this will show you the date range for your chart. You can search for your chart for 1 day. D is for a day. M is for month. Y is for year. For 1 year, for 1 month, for 5 years. And the maximum gives you the history of the shares from the inception since the time it did IPO to the current day. So I've explained how the whole chart looks like and work. The price you are seeing here on the chart is the previous close, 133.48. 133.48. And I told you that the price you are seeing here is the price on 30th of April by 4 p.m. Now you are seeing another price which is in red, 131.52. Now I'm making this video on Sunday, and even though the market is closed, there's still changes in price for people that are into swing trading, people that set their price on Friday that their deals had not completed. They're still trading, but it's very minimal. Because they're still trading, even when the market is closed, there tends to be a fluctuation from the Friday price you are seeing here to the Sunday price. So this is the Sunday price now, 131.52. When the market is closed, you cannot buy or sell shares. But for people that have already set their order, they can still buy and sell. So the market moves for them. And that's why you're seeing this price, 131.52, for the price of today, which is Sunday. The order will be executed even when the market is closed. So they are the one that fluctuates the price of the market. The information we are seeing here on this summary part is for Friday, 30th of April. Now, we've talked about the previous close, so let's continue with our discussion on the open. So it's telling us that the market opened at 131.48, which means is the opening price for the market. The first price that people saw on the market to buy or to sell. So that's what we call the opening price. Of course, the opposite will be the closing price, which is what you are seeing here as 131.46. Now, we also have the bid and the ask. The bid is the price that buyers are willing to buy a share. How much are buyers ready to pay for to purchase a share? That's what we call the bid price. And you see 131.50. And the ask price is how much sellers are willing to sell their shares. So if you want to buy and sell shares, there's always two parties. There must be a buyer and there must be a seller. The amount that the seller is ready to sell the share is called ask, and the amount that the buyer is willing to buy is called bid. And of course, you agree with me that in the stock market, the buyer pay more and the seller sell at a lesser price. So the bid price is always higher than the ask price. So you see the bid price is 131.50 and the ask price is 131.45. So we also have the days range. The days range, as implied, is the range of the prices for the day. What is the highest price for the day and what is the lowest price for the day? So telling us that the lowest price for the day is 131.07 and the highest price for the day is 133.56. We also have 52-week range. 52-week range is for a year. What is the range for a year? We've discussed about the range for a day. So what is Apple price range for a year? So that's what we call 52-week range. And telling us for the last 1 year or the previous 1 year, Apple price has fluctuated from $71.58 to $145.09. So if I click on 1 year here, you will see that the price has moved from here to the maximum, which you can see here, around 145.09. So this is how the market has moved for 1 year. Now we have volume. This volume signifies the volume of shares that's available to be traded, the quantity that's available to be traded, how much quantities of Apple shares was available on the market day. That's what we see here, and it's about 109 million shares. Now this average volume we are seeing here is the average volume for about 3 months. So for about 3 months, what was the percentage of Apple share that's available on the market? And it's about 100 million. Average volume simply represents the volume for about 3 months. You keep adding the volume for day 1, volume for day 2, volume for day 3, volume for day 4, up to 3 months, divided by the number of days that's involved to give you the average volume. It's like the mean volume, the way we calculate mean and average. It's telling us that the volume for Apple share for Friday was higher than the average volume of Apple daily shares. Equally, we have the market cap, which is the market capitalization. Market capitalization is just the net worth of the company. What is the value of the company? And you get the value of the company by multiplying the number of outstanding shares times the current share price. So this share price of Apple, which is 131.46, times the number of outstanding shares of Apple, will give us the market capitalization. In layman terms, it's just the net worth of the company. The way we say that Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, is the richest man in the world because he had the highest net worth. Companies too also have net worth, but we don't call it net worth for companies. We call it market capitalization. So it's telling us that Apple is a $2.207 trillion company. That's huge. It's a $1 trillion company. Next we have is beta. Some people call it beta, but I call it beta. Beta simply means risk and volatility of the stock. So it's just used to measure the volatility of a stock, how it's different from the average stock market risk. Now, when we talk about the stock market, or when people say stock market risk, they're mostly referring to S&P 500 or Dow 30, as people call it. This beta here is just to tell us is the risk of buying an Apple share. How does it relate to the average risk in the market, which is the S&P 500. And now, the way beta is calculated, it involves variance, covariance, mean, standard deviation, and several other mathematical calculations, which is beyond the scope of this video. But it's here to tell us about the risk of buying an Apple share compared to the risk of buying S&P 500 ETF, which is taken to be the average stock market prediction. Now, when people say the stock market, ideally it involves the whole market, but there are some indices that are being used to track the whole stock market, and the most popular is S&P 500. Beta is just a measure of volatility or risk of buying an Apple share instead of buying S&P 500 ETF. And it's telling us that it's 1.22. If a company beta is 1, it means it's highly correlated with the stock market. If it is higher than 1, it means it is more risky than the stock market. It means the volatility of the stock is higher than the stock market. So in this case, Apple share is 1.22, which means Apple volatility is higher than the stock market by 22%, which is 1.22 minus. So that will give us 1.22 minus 1, which is the market, which is the beta of the stock market, 0.22 times 100. So this is telling us that beta for Apple is 22%. So Apple risk, the risk of buying an Apple share is higher than the average stock market. If the risk is higher, remember that I've always told you in finance that when the risk is higher, the reward is higher. So it means you are likely to gain more when you invest in Apple shares than when you invest in the overall stock market ETF. You should expect a gain of about 22%. Also, it also means that you are more likely to lose investing in Apple shares by 22% than investing in the average stock market. Now, the 5Y means 5 years. 5Y monthly means that this number, 1.22, was calculated for a period of 5 years on a monthly basis. So they were taking the figure month by month for a period of 5 years. So January, February, March to December for 1 year. They repeat again, January, February, March to December for another year. So for 5 years. So they were able to obtain the mean, standard deviation, and the covariance to solve for this beta to give us 1.22. So it's a period of 5 years calculated using monthly figures. So in terms of month, we say it's 5 times 12, which is 60 months that was used to obtain this figure, 1.22. Next, we have the PE ratio. And the PE ratio is one of the core metrics that's being calculated in the stock market. The PE means price to earning ratio. Before we go to the PE ratio to explain it, let's look at the EPS TTM. Now, because the E you are seeing here represent EPS, so it means earning per share ratio. So what is the earning per share? The TTM means trailing 12 months for the previous 1 year, trailing past 1 year. And it's giving us 4.45. It is used to measure the earning of the company compared to the share price. How you get this number is by dividing the earning of the company, which is the net income you can obtain from the financial statement. You divide it by the number of total outstanding shares of the company for the previous 1 year. That will give us this number to be 4.45. The higher this number, the higher the earning, or the lower the share price. Now, EPS is used by investors to decide either to invest in a company or not. But most specifically, it is used to compute the PE ratio. The PE ratio is the price of a share divided by this EPS. What is the share price of Apple? 131.46 divided by the EPS, which is 4.45. So it's giving us 29.54. and here we have 29.55. So it's used to obtain the PE ratio of a stock, and the PE ratio is the price to earning ratio. It is used to evaluate if the price of a stock is overpriced or underpriced. If the PE ratio of a stock is between 0 to 15, we say it is undervalued or underpriced. And if it is above 15, we say that it is overpriced. So Apple being at 30, we are saying that Apple price is overpriced by investors. Now, we also have the earnings date. The earnings date is actually the earning release date. So it's the date when the company will release their financial statement, talk about their profitability, their net income, assets, their liabilities. So it's the date that the company releases their earning and financial statement. I just wish they actually added release date to make it easier for beginners. So it's 27th of July 2021 to August 2021. The next we have is the forward dividend. For those of you that are not aware, some companies pay dividend to their shareholders as a way of saying thank you for being a shareholder in this company. A dividend is the distribution of some of a company's earning to a class of its shareholders as determined by the company's board of directors. Dividends are payments made by publicly listed companies as a reward to investors for putting their money into the venture. Forward dividend means the dividend for the next 1 year. You agree with me that when they say trailing in finance, it means last 1 year or previous 1 year. And when they say forward, it means next 1 year. So the next 1 year dividend for Apple is $0.88. And if you convert it to percentage, which is $0.88 divided by the current share price of 131.46, you will get what we call the dividend yield, which is 0.67%. If you own an Apple share, you should expect a dividend of $0.88 for 1 share. If you own more than 1 share, you multiply it by the number. So let's say that you own 10 shares in Apple. So you should expect to get a dividend of 10 times $0.88, which is $8.8, just free money as a thank you for being a shareholder in the company. So for 1 share, you expect a dividend of 0.88. So this 0.88 divided by the current share price, which is 131.46, will give us 0.00669. In percentage, you multiply by 100, which is 0.67%. You are seeing here. So that's what we call dividend yield. It means that you get 0.67% as dividend for investing in 1 share of Apple. So if you pay 131.46 to have an Apple share, they will pay you a dividend of 0.67% of the amount, which is $0.88. So we have the ex-dividend date. Now, ex-dividend date simply means that the people that will be paid this dividend are people that have bought their shares on or before the 6th of May 2021. So if you've not bought your Apple share on or before the ex-dividend date, which is the 6th of May 2021, you will not get a dividend. And finally, we have 1 year target estimate. Is analysts telling us what the price of Apple share will be like in 1 year. So the current price as of today is $131. So they're saying that 1 year from now, they are predicting that Apple price will be about $157. So it's like 1 year estimate of the price. What would the price be in 1 year? Because it's an estimate, it implies that it could be lower than this number, and also it could be higher than this number. It's just an estimate. Just to conclude this slide, we also have other things you can check out for, which is the chart, for you to see the chart that I explained to you before. Conversation, what people are talking about Apple shares, you can see it here. The statistics, I've explained some of these terms here. If you want to get more of them, remember what we discussed is the summary page. So if you want to know all of them, you come here to get full details on Apple share. We also have historical data, how Apple shares has performed in the past. We also have profile, financials, analysis, options, holders, and finally, sustainability to tell us about the environment, social, and governance risk rating of Apple. So, also on your phone, there's an app called Stock on your phone. You can click on it and search for Apple. It will show you Apple share, how the price is moving, and everything I've explained here. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel to get more updates on the stock market, on Apple, on finance in general, and most importantly, on different ways of making money online, both actively and passively. Thank you. Subscribe now. That gives us a summary of how to read stock market chart. If you have any question or you have a comment or you want to know more about the stock market, feel free to check out my video that's playing now, where I explain in detail how the stock market actually works. Bye.